Welcome to my channel. My name is Simon, and today we will be reacting on 3 videos of layoff, and more layoff. Recently, we have seen companies make decision to lay off a lot of their employees, and those decisions has had so many impact on the employees and their family because most employees live paycheck to paycheck. And most employees don't know when they're going to get their next payment. And most employees are broke. Most employees are in a situation what I call JBM, just barely making it. And when we take a look at the economy and how it's going, most employees will be in a situation where I call it JBS, just barely surviving. First thing first, before we take a look at the first video, please make sure you subscribe to my channel, you like the video, and you share with others. Let's take a look at the video.
Did you know that 7 out of 10 corporate workers are preparing for layoffs right now? Let that sink in. 70%. And honestly, they have every reason to. Let me break it down for you. We are in the middle of a layoff tsunami. Big companies like tech giants, finance firms, and even retail powerhouses are all quietly trimming their workforces. They're not just laying off thousands of employees. They're restructuring, freezing hiring, and silently planning for efficiency. Most layoffs aren't even announced until the last minute. Companies are trying to avoid public backlash, so they're doing things like rolling out quiet layoffs, cutting perks, forcing return to office mandates, or making workloads so unbearable that people quit on their own. And why is this happening? It's all about the bottom line. Companies are trying to stay profitable in uncertain markets. And guess who's caught in the middle? The employees. Start preparing now. Update your resume. Build your personal brand like I always tell you on here. Get a portfolio. And more importantly, grow your network. What do you think? Have you been impacted by any of these corporate layoffs? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your stories, and follow me for more tips to stay ahead in this unpredictable job market.
All company cares about is their bottom line. And in cases like that where employee are the one that's affected, and usually there's 2 types of people that's affected. There's people that are prepared and the people that are not prepared. Usually the people that are prepared in a situation where it's laid off is when in a company there's rumors of layoff that's about to come. And that gives a lot of people time to be able to be prepared for the next decision that they'll be making in their company. Either they might choose to stay and try to wait until they get laid off, or they might try to go find a different path or even start a new side hustle. You have those people that are actually get information from the HR. You have people that get information from coworkers. There's always information that's circling among them. And then you have people who are not prepared. And usually there are people who are caught by surprise. You know, because you have some company who will allow their worker to come on that day, the day that they're being laid off. You work the whole day. At the end of the shift, they call you in the manager office and they break down the news to you. Tell you, well, thank you for working with us. Unfortunately, we will have to lay you off. And usually those are the people that are caught in surprise. They're really surprised about what their next steps is going to be, how they're going to start making bills, how they're going to start making their payments, how they will be able to basically pay for the bills. And in those scenarios, a lot of them really live paycheck to paycheck, and it's really hard, and it's really sad to see that. Let's take a look at another video.
I just heard that a company that I worked at that laid me off. Okay, so in 2020, they laid me off. They laid off about 900 other people in 2020. They rehired, they re-upped, they went public a couple years later, okay? They are doing more layoffs. They've done like 5 rounds of layoffs. And I'm just wondering, at what point do these people start cutting executive salaries instead of cutting hardworking people that they hire? I'm so pissed about this. I'm in my robe, my glasses. I haven't even showered today. And I just got a text from a friend who is still at the company that they're hitting the different departments. And it's just, I'm sick of it. I am sick of corporate America taking advantage of hardworking, dedicated people. Dedicated. I'm still friends with my entire team at this damn company, okay? It wasn't us, right? Like, we were just there to do a job, to be successful, what have you. And yeah, I mean, I'm frustrated. So frustrated. So over layoffs. Enough is enough.
Yeah, enough is enough, man. I mean, when we look at the companies or the industry that's being affected mostly by layoff, and the company that is mostly vulnerable for layoff currently, because there will be more to come in the future. You look at, for example, in the tech sector, which a lot of people that consider working a tech job as a secure job. We're seeing recently that it's a vulnerable position due to the addition of AI. A lot of tech companies are making decisions to be able to use artificial intelligence to replace their entry-level position workers. We're seeing that in retail. Where I live, I saw a company like Big Lots, Ross. Those company is closing, and a lot of company either they're downsizing due to the decrease of consumer spending. We also seeing also in finance, in the world of finance and banking, a lot of accountants are also in a vulnerable position because company are now deciding to use, again, artificial intelligence to be able to do the task that human labor could be doing. And also we see that in manufacturing. When you take a look at, for example, the automobile industry, it's a huge company, but they are so vulnerable to layoff because it has been going on for a lot of years. And a lot of employees that work in the automobile industry can feel the impact of being laid off because of decrease of demands by consumer due to the economy, due to the pressure that inflation is putting on the economy, due to the interest rate, due to so many things that's happening also with the tariff situation that's happening between countries, that the president is trying to put tariff upon other industries, foreign industry, which many of these manufacturers depends on. You know, some notable companies that also is having this issue of laying off a lot of their employee is Tesla. We have Macy, we have Ross, we have UPS, we have Microsoft, we have Big Lot, and the list goes on and on. And the unique thing about all this is we just started 2025, and this will continue on and on, month to month, because last year, company were laying off their employees. And then once we entered 2025, a lot of people assume things will get better because there's a new administration. There's probably hope that people are hoping there will be decision that will be made to be able to increase more jobs for the average American. But unfortunately, we keep on seeing people getting laid off. And it's a sad situation. Most of it has to do with the pressure, the economy. Most of it has to do with the economy. And let's take a look at what this lady had to say next.
So in recent months, we have seen a wave of massive layoffs across various industries, particularly in tech, retail, finance, and manufacturing. And reflecting on the ongoing cost-cutting measures and market shifts, of course, imports and exports as well, let's just talk about some recent layoffs that are quite notable from major companies. So starting with the tech sector, 23andMe, they have laid off 40% of their staff. That's roughly about 200 employees in response to the financial challenges that they have had and the declining stock performance. AMD, they announced a 4% workforce reduction, which is more or less around 1,000 jobs, despite them having rising revenues. And they were citing that they were shifting focus in a lot of areas. We know that that is due to the tariffs, if you watch my video from yesterday. Cisco Systems, they have some ongoing restructuring, which is expected to actually cut thousands of jobs globally. So you can look out for that announcement. Unity Software, they are cutting about 1,800 roles, or have cut about 1,800 roles. That's more or less about 25% of their workforce, as a part of a major downsizing effort, more or less to cut costs. The automotive and manufacturing industry, they are not new to these types of actions, and so this is kind of the run of the mill for them. But unfortunately, General Motors, they recently announced 1,000 layoffs. They were mainly targeting roles in Michigan as a part of their broader cost optimization efforts. Tesla, as I mentioned yesterday, they plan to cut over 10% of their workforce globally due to the reduction in EV sales and increased competition, because obviously Tesla is not the only electric vehicle on the market. Retail and consumer goods, Wayfair, they've cut about 1,650 jobs, which is about 13% of their workforce for cost-cutting measures. Macy's, every single year, it seems like for the last 5 years, Macy's has done some massive layoffs, and this year is no different. They have announced 2,350 layoffs alongside a lot of store closures as well. Estee Lauder, they plan to actually reduce their workforce by 3 to 5% globally due to the weak performance that they have been having. In the finance and the logistics area, Citigroup, if you're working for any company that is affiliated to Citigroup, they are aiming actually to eliminate 20,000. That's a lot of employees. 20,000 positions over the next 2 years. So it's not immediate, but it is gradual over the next 2 years, starting with 716 of those jobs in New York alone. UPS, they've recently laid off around 12,000 employees, which marks one of the largest, and I mean the largest, workforce reductions in the logistics arena just this year. And then in media and entertainment, Disney, specifically Pixar, they announced around 14% workforce cuts. That's around 175 different roles that reflect more so a slowdown in their streaming productions. The Comcast-owned Sky, they plan about 1,000 layoffs as they restructure as well. There are some expected trends more or less with these layoffs. If you think about the tech industry, they're more so realigning. They're very vulnerable. They remain very vulnerable because companies will recalibrate their post-pandemic growth surges, and layoffs tied to like the AI transitions and revenue pressures are actually expected to continue. In retail and logistics, consumer-facing industries are going to see some further cuts because of economic pressure and the reduction in discretionary spending. I did a video about consumer spending and how that is changing the format and the framework of how consumers look at their consumption. Their consumption and their costs. Financial services. So the cost-saving initiatives are likely to persist with automation and restructuring for job reductions and the broader market pressures. I mean, there are too many economic uncertainties, including inflation, interest rate hikes, which all could contribute to additional layoffs. So this wave of layoffs just highlights continued adjustments to shifting to what we would like to consider economic reality. With many of these companies, they're prioritizing now. They're prioritizing profitability and efficiency over human labor, sadly. The layoffs that are expected in the U.S., more or less now in 2024, going into 2025 are more concentrated sectors, as I mentioned, but that does not mean that other sectors are not laying off. It's just not as tremendous as the sectors that I mentioned. So again, if you found this video helpful, hopefully you found it useful, please like, share, and save, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Consider hitting the plus button so that you can follow up on new updates and pressing topics. See you in the next one.
With that being said, layoff, I believe it will continue, and it will continue to get worse for a lot of people. And companies will take decision to be able to just continue to actually trim off the excess fat, I guess you can say that, because they are trying to prioritize profit over the employee, which is having an impact on so many people. But I think for people that's watching, for people that's actually paying attention to what's going on, it's also up to you to start making decisions about your life, to rebrand yourself, to try to enter into a new opportunities. For example, start a side hustle. Start talking about the things that you are probably passionate about. Start talking about the things that you have studied, the things that you feel it has an impact in your life. Another thing is also networking. It's really important to network with people, because you may never know who's out there. You may never know who will be in a position to help you, and you may never know who could be in a position to connect you with other people to be able to raise awareness, or to be able to gain an opportunity for a job, for your company, and for so many other things. So if you like this video, please make sure you subscribe, you like, and you share this video with others. Until next time.